Okay, fans, after a brief summer break, welcome back to Sports Chat. Football season is upon us.
Yeah, next week the middle school season will get underway, I believe. Had their jamboree last night at Follett and Jacksboro. Didn't it? Jacksboro did. Well, I understand Follett looked pretty good. Jacksboro looked like they're having some rebuilding this season, but you have to see. It's hard to tell from a jamboree exactly.
It is, and of course, Jacksboro is making the coaching transition as Mike Miller is now the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator at Jellicoe, and Brent Pill has moved into the head coaching role. So that causes a little bit of an adjustment for the Eagles.
Yeah, both middle school programs on this side of the mountain have new coaches, so we'll see where that goes. Follett, like I said, they had a good base build. Lost a lot of players. They lost Zach Rutherford, their quarterback, who's an important player for them. We'll see how they can bounce back over that. Jacksboro lost some good players too. Also lost their quarterback. They're more run-centered usually, but we'll see what Coach Peel has in store for them. So he's been a long-time assistant and offensive coordinator for Coach Miller. We'll see how it works out. Last night the Cougars had a semi-organized scrimmage. You know, they had the officials. They ran 10 plays on each side of the ball. Patrick was out electioneering for Coach Bruce and didn't get to attend, but I did. And the offense, it looked pretty good. Of course, still high volume of throws. You're going to see a lot of what you saw last year. I don't think there's going to be a huge drop-off in the offense. A lot of skilled players returning. I wrote a column last night that should be appearing on the Times site soon. Cordell's back, of course, at running back. He's going to be a very good. A lot of people don't appreciate Cordell. I was talking to Jason James, the voice of the Cougars, on TNQ at the scrimmage, and he was remarking that Cordell didn't really seem to do as much as some of the other players. He felt that he was underutilized a bit. But
well, I mean, Paul is physically a very gifted athlete. And I think it would help them a lot to figure out more ways to get him the ball this year.
Well, one of the big things about it is Cordell, you look at it at the end of the season, he didn't seem like he had a lot of rushing yards or a lot of receiving yards, but he combined to have around 600, almost 700 yards of total offense, which is right in line with what Trey Torres and
Corey Phillips,
Preston Miller, and Corey Phillips had. So he's actually getting the ball quite a bit and putting up similar numbers, similar yards, similar touchdown stats and all that, and he actually, he is used quite a bit. They just choose to throw the ball to him instead of hand it to him some of the time.
Of course, Jeffers is poised to have one more go at getting another All-State, to take what few records he doesn't already own.
Yeah.
He's set to have a big senior season.
I have no doubt that he's going to come out and probably, I don't know if he'll have the numbers he had last year for one simple fact, and I'm not sure that the defense is going to be as effective as it was last year, and that may lead to other teams possessing the ball more.
It really is a big loss. The Christian Monday loss is actually going to be big in the fact that it will free other teams' lines up, and of course Nick Bailey and Andrew Evans were just tackling machines, and Corey Phillips was a force in that defensive backfield.
I mean, the best way to stop a high-powered offense is to keep it off the field. And you got power running attacks. Anderson County's going to have their power running attack. Central always has a power running attack. Oak Ridge is probably going to be able to run the ball pretty well. Powell runs the ball well. It's just people are going to be trying to keep Campbell County's offense off the field through their own offense. And unless the defense can produce stops, I just think the numbers may be down a little bit across the board for some of the skill players, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a worse season. But
it's home schedule-wise, it's pretty favorable. And as far as travel goes, we only make one trip to Knoxville. 3 of the 5 away games are in Anderson County.
Yep, at Clinton, which is probably going to be another shootout. I know Coach Price was a little upset with his defense last year, and Coach Price said that he was upset with himself because he changed his defense up a little bit for the Clinton game last year, and he said he should have just played his defense. rather than make those changes and just let the defense do what the defense does.
Of course, that's a big one. It's on a Thursday night. It's on a rivalry Thursday, and then on Friday night we'll turn around and Jacksboro and Clinton Middle Schools will play at Jacksboro that week.
Yeah, switch the games up. I'm glad they didn't have both games on the same night. It wouldn't surprise me, but I was glad to see that happen. Really, I mean, I think everybody in the district has a lot of question marks. Oak Ridge, their offense was bad last year, and they lost some players off of it. So they have question marks. Anderson County's offense was great last year. They rolled behind a senior quarterback and a big offensive line. The senior quarterback's gone. The big offensive line's gone. They still have Fox, who put up a lot of yards. I don't believe he put up as many as they claim. Certainly didn't against Campbell County, but they have question marks. Powell is the constant coaching carousel there. They're always going to have good players, but the coaches change constantly. So who knows what to expect from them? I think Central's going to have another good power running game. Central gave Campbell County a really good game last year. I think people forget how close that game was. And you can't really automatically pencil in a victory with them. Did Central also beat Anderson County last year?
They did.
Or maybe it was Powell that beat Anderson.
No, Powell beat AC.
Central beat Powell last year.
Central beat Powell. Powell beat AC.
Central was a capable team of beating anybody. And Clinton, of course, I look for them to make a big improvement. You know, you got Rodney Ellison's just potent offense. Thackerson put up huge numbers in it, and they had a Tennessee signee.
They lost him.
Oh, they already lost him?
He has been ruled ineligible by the TSSAA for academic reasons, is my understanding.
I have to imagine that Rodney may be on suicide watch.
I've not had a chance to talk to him yet because I've been so wrapped up in this campaign. I mean, they're going to appeal it, but right now he is ineligible as per the TSSAA.
Well, I feel that's bad news. I hate it for Rodney. B, I was really excited to get to see him play in person, and C, it sounds like he may not be able to get into Tennessee at that point.
Well, I think it was on the Swain event they talked about how this really, really hurts his chances at UT.
Oh, I mean, if you're suspended for your senior season for academic reasons, or not eligible for academic reasons, I can't imagine that you're going to be able to play at UT, and unless he just does nothing but focus completely on the classroom this year and gets his grades back in order. It's a hard hole to dig yourself out of.
My understanding about the academic thing is he'll have a hard time qualifying for UT academic.
I mean, they have a little bit different standards for football players, but that is tough to hear. I mean, I hate that.
Now, on the upside, he probably could go to ETSU. They have zero standards.
That's true. We'll see then, I guess, how Clinton is. I still think Clinton's it was 41-40 last year, and had Trey Torres's, bombshell pass against them as well to set up a touchdown to keep us ahead. We'll see if Coach Price is a great defensive coordinator, Matt, and I think that he'll probably have his defense, like he said, back to the actual defense he wanted to run, and that he feels he should have ran against Clinton. Maybe it'll make a difference. I don't know if it'll be homecoming again or not. If it's homecoming, look out for the parade because they have it right as the game starts, and traffic's terrible and parking's terrible.
I'm not sure what game is scheduled for homecoming this year. Also, football-wise, at Jacksboro this year, they're going to be honoring the 30-year anniversary of Jacksboro's first ever undefeated middle school football team. And that's going to be during the La Follette game. So that's going to be bigger than usual because you're going to see a lot of old Eagles there.
Well, that'll be quite the event. Always quite the event when the two get together. One of many Jacksboro championship teams. Hopefully they can return to that form soon.
It's going to be a fun football season, high school and middle school wise this year. And we get to go to Cumberland Gap, which means we go to the Oasis. Lynn Camp, hopefully will actually come down here.
I look for a lot of points in that Lynn Camp game. And unfortunately, from what I was once again talking to some of the coaches yesterday, the Lynn Camp coaches feel they're 14 points worse than they were last year. I don't know if that's just Kentucky coach line speak or not, because the coaches in Kentucky are jackals. But if they're 14 points worse, this thing may be 100-0.
Thank God, I hope so. I hate Lynn Camp. I hate Lynn Camp more than I do most places.
I mean, they tried to, of course, quit and get out of the game completely and just choose not to play at all because they knew they were going to get beat. And they agreed to a contract. Now Campbell County's essentially having to foot the bill for them to come down here after Campbell County footed their own bill to go up there last year. So, I won't blame the coaches a bit if they put 100 on them. They could have put 100 on them in the first half last year and scored 36 in the first quarter.
And if I remember correctly, the TSSAA rule is a little bit different on that mercy rule. I don't know that it can actually go in the first quarter.
No, it happens. It's at halftime in Tennessee. I mean, Kentucky, at any point you're up by 36. Tennessee, if you're up by 35 in the second half, from what I understand.
So yeah, that could be an ugly. Also, we've got UT football coming in. We've got NFL camps going on.
Yeah, UT just hoping for a bowl game this year. I still think that's about all you can hope for. Getting another great recruiting class back in the top 10 again with the #1 overall player in the country and defensive tackle McKenzie. Yeah, that's the kind of guy who can be on your defensive line for the next probably 3 years. You would think he's probably going to go to the NFL, but the guy can make a big impact, especially as a sophomore and junior. And when you get those big defensive tackles, your team's on the way to improving. That was what got our team in the abyss. To me, I mean, we lost the great flow of defensive tackles we had for years, and things started slipping away. And for whatever reason, no coach could get a good defensive tackle to commit. And now Bush Jones has gotten several already, and so the #1 overall player in the country. So, it's pretty. Things are looking up. I say it may not be next year that they get great, but I'm looking at 2015 or 2016, 2015, 2016. Legitimate SEC East contenders, and which is going to make you, national championship contender if you're contender for the championship in the SEC.
And also, various NFL games will be coming up preseason wise.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to be a football fan.
Yeah, we'll get more active in the next few weeks. We've had camera issues. You probably can see a difference in this. We're actually recording this on a webcam. Hopefully you can hear us. But our new camera's on the way. We'll come back. We'll have better quality video the next time you see us, hopefully.
Better coverage. Times football coverage is going to be strong again this year. I've even worked out a deal to do some stuff with the Little League. So it's going to be a good year for football fans.
Well, I guess that's about what we have to say for this week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Probably looking at the actual game that the middle schools are going to play, because like I say, they will open their season next week. Campbell County does have its jamboree next week at Central. Is it Thursday night? Probably next Friday night.
It's next Friday night.
I would think.
I believe.
It's the same jamboree, the KLC Classic, basically, that was played in Neyland, but for some reason Neyland is not available this year, so they're playing it at Central.
Fans, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.